Kelly Orchard's podcast for successful badassery. Mustang Monday. Fast cars, fun chats, and badass business and personal tips from the streets. Driving home a positive message with interviews conducted in Kelly's 2006 Mustang. This is badass territory. No sniveling.
Hey, everybody. This is Kelly Orchard with Mustang Monday, and in the seat is my very good friend, Deb Ringler. Say hi, Deb.
Hey, loving it.
Deb is a speaker friend of mine. We met how many years ago? Has it been 5 years?
Yeah.
Probably 5 years ago, when we both were in a mastermind speaker training, and that's how we met. It was a year-long program to teach us how to be better speakers.
Hey.
And
we did.
And we did become better speakers. And we became really good friends.
Yeah, we did.
So there was a double bonus there.
Yeah.
And so today I'm down in Orange County to visit my friend Deb, because that's where she's from, and it was really fun to drive the Mustang and come and see her and get her to hop in the seat to give a badass tip from the street.
She was my knight in shining armor today.
Well, maybe not a knight in shining armor, but I'm definitely a badass in a Mustang.
She was my $1 million call.
$1 million
I'm
call.
learning how to be on the radio, and I called the pro.
Called me.
And,
this is all about having a badass tip from the street. And,
okay.
It's like, one of the things that we talked about was, you're going through some changes in your life right now.
Little bit.
And the thing is that the point right now is that you're never too old to make a change in your life.
No.
You're not in the age of retirement yet.
No.
But you've had your gardening business for how long now?
40 years.
40 years.
40 years.
Okay, so can you please explain? You're not a landscaper.
I am what you call an interior landscaper, where I work with interior designers, I work with architects, I work with business managers of large corporate, and I basically create environments in people's homes inside, and then I install them, maintain them, and take care of them. And I've had clients I've had the entire 40 years I've been in business. Mm-hmm. So for me to say goodbye to that is saying goodbye to a very large portion. If I'm 60 and I've been doing that 40 years, right. I'm thinking that's a very big portion of my life.
It's a huge part of your identity.
It is.
Well, you're a gardener. So the thing is that we're talking about today is that you're never too old to try something new.
Right.
And so tell me like a little bit of the process of how you came about this. It's like you also have been through some very significant, traumas and grief experiences and things in your life. And so this is a process.
Who hasn't?
Exactly.
Really?
And we can get into details on everybody all the time.
Exactly.
But
it's what you do with them that marks your story.
Bingo. And so where are you at in your process of changing your career?
Well, I had cancer in 2011, and that was a life-altering experience, to say for sure. And I always tell people I'm not grateful for cancer, but boy, am I grateful for what I learned through journeying, walking with cancer for a period of time. Luckily, it didn't hang out and remain a friend on my behalf. And I really felt that I had a message, and I really wanted to share my testimony and some of the things that I've been through, because I believe they encourage people and give them hope. And as a result of our class, I kind of created a new business that I call the Cultivating Connection, where I really wanted two things that are hugely important to me are people and plants. And I really wanted to start utilizing plants as a modality in order to help people get more connected to nature. Mm-hmm. And I became aware of an organization called Tinker Garden. And I learned how to engage preschoolers and their parents in green spaces, and it's probably one of the coolest things I have ever done.
I really love it. You've shared with me a little bit about what you do.
Pretty awesome.
So now, instead of going in, you're in transition. You haven't you haven't sold your business yet, but you're transitioning from that, so you can do more of this teaching.
I want to teach, and the gal that purchased my company is a mom of twin boys, and she's actually the one that introduced me to Tinker Garden. And so think what a full circle moment this is. She learned under me, bought my business, and now has a thriving career for as long as she wants to keep it, and can be a mother of twin boys and have a business she loves and creates. Brings me to a Tinker Garden class when her boys are 2 and has launched me into a career that I never even thought I would do. And not only do I get to teach preschoolers, but my desire and to use my speaking gift and my 40 years of knowledge is nature is a wonderful tool for people to be using right now to get more grounded in their lives and to just decompress. And it has so helped me in when I had cancer. It also hugely helped me in a health crisis I had last summer, where it slows us down and it makes us be intentional that a tree doesn't force itself to grow.
Yes.
It just allows seasons to come and go, and it doesn't ever strive. And I found that I was striving, and so I'm trying to model my life after just believing that if I continue to do the right things that cause growth, I water, I have a community, I have a faith base, I have a source of income, that is going to be a greater stability for me growing into my senior years than continuing to run a company that, in all honesty, Miko will do better than I will right now. And she's the one that...
Okay, because why?
Because I think you reach a stage in your career where they said you need to be the sage.
Yeah.
We don't
I
have
have taken it
people
as long as I have taken it, and I want to hand it off to somebody
else.
Somebody else. But I will guide you through this.
Yes.
But I want you to improve upon it.
Right.
I mean, isn't that what we do with our children?
Really. But for us, what I love about the story with Miko is we're not related, but truly the transaction we did the first time and now into the second is very much like a mother-daughter. It's not two people looking for the best advantage. We're looking at, we both have good businesses. Hers, she wants to continue and thrive in this particular part of the business. I would rather teach the next generation what it's like to not only experience nature, but I've also written a lot of courses for people in our industry. And Miko goes, there's nobody doing this.
Yes.
And she goes, who's teaching me how to run a business now that you aren't with me? So I said, well, I'll go with you if you'll invest in helping me do that. So we're co-creating together.
Yeah.
And we just felt as women, we would do it better together than separate, but only for a period of time, because then we knew it wasn't like a lifetime commitment. We aren't going to be partners.
Right.
I am merging with her. She is leading the
It's
ship.
a transition.
I am helping with the transition.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
With a goal in mind.
So would you
That's
say
what I would do.
that's a badass tip? I was
It
just going to
is.
say.
Be intentional.
Yeah.
And plan, because I have planned this. I had cancer in 2011.
Right.
And it is 2020.
And
I
when
sold my company in
right.
2013. So this has been a 10-year decade plan here,
Yeah.
people. This is not
Right.
a spontaneous, I just had a bad day and decided to sell my company.
Well, I also
and-
want to point out, because I've known you now for 5 years, so it's like you had already somewhat sold the business
Then.
before I met you,
Right.
and I remember that's what we were talking about, was you wanted to transition into the speaking world and those things, and you had been doing that, but then you've also been nimble by allowing yourself to say, oh, but look at this. Because that was something you was like, so on one hand, you already knew you wanted to transition out of owning this business, and you wanted to use your experience with cancer and your personal growth to help others.
And plants has to be a part of it because it's breath to me.
Right. And so speaking was really, that's where you thought you were going to go. It's like you were going to be a professional speaker.
Inspirational speaker.
Inspirational
and now
speaker.
I'm a preschool teacher in green spaces and think it's the coolest
But you're
thing.
still inspirational,
I am.
right?
But you know what's cool?
Yeah.
Keep in mind now, my target market now ranges where in one lesson, as a public speaker, I am doing a 90-minute class 3 times in one day to a demographic of 6 months old to 60 years old, all learning the same lesson, creating a joyful moment experience that these parents can't have anywhere else. That's awesome.
Come on, really?
Seriously.
I mean,
Would you not sell a business to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds so fun.
And you could do it forever. And it's
I
like,
could.
when I was selling, it's just, I'm like the Pied Piper.
I am. I'm like, I want to be the Mary Poppins of nature.
So that's the tip, is that you're never too old
Never.
to try something new.
Oh, please,
And
never.
but the thing is that but Deb just didn't just get started on a whim.
No,
She's
10
been
years.
strategizing for a while. So wherever you are in your life, if it's like, if you want to be making a change, now's a good time to start working toward that goal. All right, so that's your tip. This is my friend Deb Ringler. I have a saying that my tagline.
All right.
So just repeat it with me. I keep
Okay.
telling people I'm going to post it up there, but I never do. So I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, reminding you to be bold. Say it.
Be bold.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be confident.
Be confident.
Be badass.
Be badass.
This is badass territory. No sniveling. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
Hey everybody, Kelly Orchard here with Mustang Monday, and I invited my next guest to hop in the seat with a badass tip from the street. How you like that rhyme?
I love
it
that.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Happened. Who's going to hop in the seat? This is Mike Stromsoe from Stromsoe Insurance, but you're not just an insurance guy. You're many other things, aren't you?
Well, yes. I've had a little bit of experience in life, and every part of the journey lends to something new. And I've learned that there's nothing better than, influencing and teaching people who want to be influenced and led, and impacting people's lives personally and professionally is the result. And it's just been a fantastic journey.
Yeah.
And the good news is it's long from over.
It's long from over. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's
So-
good. Yeah.
And that's why I so love everything about your certified badass program. It just creates this kind of influence in the
Yeah.
people that want to attain the same.
I know. Well, the thing, what I figured out, and this is part of my personal journey, is that we're all badass if we're not giving up. If we
Right.
just keep trying, regardless of what kind of failures you've experienced, because we all experience failure.
Yep.
That and you've been through the storms of life, and so that gives you that you are badass.
That's right.
Sometimes all we need is that credibility, which is
That's
the
right.
licensed part or the
That's right.
certification part.
Yeah.
And so that's my little personal thing here.
Yeah, so to drop a couple personal things on you from
Yeah.
something you just said.
Yeah.
We've got things in our businesses that I get to be in the leadership of and founding of, but there's wins and there's lessons. You see, lessons are just failures that we learn from, because
right.
if nobody died, we're good. We can learn
Exactly.
from it and move on.
Right.
And the day we stop learning is the day we stop growing.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
every single day, I totally agree with you. You're on it.
Absolutely.
So
what's your tip for us today? Because I know that wasn't it.
no, that wasn't it, but it will lead to it. So
Yeah.
I get to be the team leader of a local independent insurance agency, 32.5 years in the business.
But no one's counting.
No,
right?
not at all.
No
So
one's counting.
I love what I do, but off of that was born a coaching and consulting program, which is now across all of North America. I get to coach and consult with independent insurance agency entrepreneurs all over North America. It is flipping awesome. So I've got some tips for you, which kind of lead to any kind of business, whether it be that business or another business, and I hope that it helps.
I'm sure
So
it will. Lay it on us. Come on.
It starts with a story.
Good,
And
tell
I
us.
started working for my dad originally when I was 8. He had Jack in the Box restaurants. I used to hang out the drive-through window and hey. And then I went to work for him when I was 12 officially. I said, hey, will you give me a job? He said, I'll give you a job under one condition. I said, what is it? He goes, you have to work harder than everybody else or I'm going to fire you. And as long as you're good with that, you can have the job. I said, I'm in. So I learned to work hard. That was my first injection. But he told me something not too long after I took that job that I've never forgotten. That's going to be my encouragement for you today, badasses, is he said, look, there's one thing that you cannot improve more. There's no limit on the amount of improvement of this one thing. It has absolutely no limits, and you have complete control over it. Do you know what that is? And I said, no, what is it? He goes, it's you. And so there's another local community badass. Can I mention names?
Sure, absolutely.
So one of our badass friends, Dion Moser.
Oh, Dion, of course. Yeah.
So helped me create this along that same thought process. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what we affectionately call the mirror of truth. Okay. So this says there's only one person that stands between you and all the success you want, and it's you.
Yeah.
And that's our badass tip for today.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share something else that I've learned in my journey and continuing to improve, because I invest in 3 different coaches to learn how to get better every day. Because I learned from one of my greatest mentors, Mr. Jim Rohn, who said, if you want to have more, you've got to become more, because you attract exactly what you are and who you become. And that at its core is our badass tip for you today.
Yeah.
You have absolutely no limits, but you attract exactly what you are and who you've become. So you've got to continue to invest in yourself. You got to continue to invest in your mindset, because your mindset is your skill set.
That's right.
And the more you put into your mindset, the better that skill set's going to be.
That's right.
And you know, a lot of people say, well, how do you continue to remember every single day, or how do you know, et cetera, et cetera? Well, it's really simple, Kelly. It's called goals. And you know, I talk to agency entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs all over North America, and I ask them, they're talking about their business isn't doing this or they're not getting this, and I said, tell me about your goals.
Are you working towards it?
And
Have you been committed to it?
Well, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
I get silence.
Yeah.
And to me, that means they don't have any goals,
what
right?
goals? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's part of the becoming more, because I have 6 different goal sheets. Let's see, 6 different goal sheets that I've developed that I continue to have worked through, and I have been doing this for religiously 5 or 6 years since I learned how to do it right. And they're on my computer, and I've got them in paper form if I'm traveling as well, and I look at them every morning. And the magic thing about it is I see them differently every single day.
Yeah.
Because something has happened in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I want to share with you, because it's like we're not new acquaintances, but I don't know your whole backstory. But I just found that we have very common upbringing, because I too, my first job was with my dad.
wow, that's awesome.
He was a real estate broker, and at 6 years old, that was my beginnings of marketing.
Yeah.
He would take me to his real estate office, and I would sit on the floor and collate and staple all of his marketing pieces at 6 years
awesome.
old. And then of course he built a radio station when I was in high school, and I went to work with him then. And he too said, write down your goals, and they're more likely to be achievable.
That's right.
You'll more likely see them happen if you write them down. And so that's pretty much what you're talking. Goals are great, but they're worthless if you don't work towards them.
Yeah.
So that silence on the phone call when someone says, when you say to them, well, what are your goals?
Yeah.
Right. If they don't write them
Tell me
down.
about your goals. You see, Kelly, knowing your destination is all you need to get there.
Yeah.
It's like the airplane that might be at LAX going to JFK. They specifically programmed that airplane to arrive at JFK. They have to know their destination.
Who was it that coined it? Because I use that phrase and I can't remember who said it, but they said it's a really long day on the golf course if you don't know where the holes are.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go play golf all you want, but if you don't know where the holes are, you don't know what the goal is.
That's right.
Where's the goal? It's like, I wouldn't say that I'm even remotely good at golf. I'm barely good at miniature golf.
Right.
But
I'm with you.
it's a really good analogy that it would be a long day on the golf course if you didn't know where the holes are. So they look at where the map is, and they see where the holes are, and they plot it out.
That's right.
And that's what we need to do with our personal and professional goals. Is
Our
plot it out.
blueprint.
Our blueprint
for our life. And the encouragement is, what is it that you want? Personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And one last thing to add on to this.
Yes,
so
please.
We have 6 kids and 13 grandkids.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very, very
I'm like
fortunate.
half that.
So anyway, all of this stuff that we're creating through people, processes, and promotion, which is the 3 Ps in our other consulting business, we've got it all systematized, and now we have something we're looking to launch next year called Cousins Camp. So these 13 grandkids are going to have the blueprint for their entrepreneurial lives for as long as they want it. And that is at the core of the passion.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about a few minutes ago inside.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic journey, and we're just trying to lead other people to that place.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a gift for you.
What?
I have this coffee mug I'm going to give you.
Wow.
Just for you. I have not done this in Mustang Monday yet.
A certified badass coffee mug?
A licensed
for me?
badass coffee mug for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like when I first started doing my badass certification class, I had said that I was only going to give it to people who came to the class.
Yeah.
But then I realized there's so many other certified badasses or badasses that still need to be certified, but could definitely use a coffee mug. So here you go.
No.
Yeah, my gift to you.
Yeah, and to correlate everything we're talking about, if you want to have more, you have to become more.
Yeah.
Because you attract exactly what you are and who you become.
Yep.
You've got to invest in yourself.
You have to.
And so that's why this program is so badass, and being a badass is so important because we got to continue to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm so honored to know you, and I can't wait to learn more.
Oh, Mike.
Because I want to be a badass.
You are a rock star. Yes, we will. Well, everybody, thank you so much, Mike, for joining me in my Mustang. I am Kelly Orchard, and there's a tagline, and you're going to say it, and you don't know it. It's like, but I'm going to walk you through it.
Yeah.
Reminding you, I'm Kelly Orchard, author, speaker, and today I'm going to be the badass coach, reminding you to be bold. Say it with me.
Be bold.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be confident.
Be confident.
Be badass.
Be badass. Be bold. Be brave. Be confident. And be a badass.
Thanks for listening and getting one step closer to being licensed to be badass. Be sure to subscribe to continue on the Bus to Badassville. Snag your Badass Habits ebook at licensedtobebadass.com. You can stay in the slow lane and get just enough tools for successful badassery, one podcast at a time. Or you can join the Badass Ambassador crew in the fast lane by checking your baggage with my Licensed to Be Badass integrated program with videos, worksheets, and group coaching for motivation, mindset, and a fresh approach to living a fruitfully badass life.
Badass Attitudes, licensed here, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Be sure to subscribe and hop on the Bus to Badassville.